How's it going, my RWBY friends? I just finished watching Volume 6, Chapter 12, titled Seeing Red, and this will be my review for that chapter. Of course, I also do the live stream reviews, so if you can, attend those for even more discussions on this chapter, and if you can't make the stream, the VOD, the video on demand, will be posted, so that will be made public. It just takes a while to process, but here is my video review of this chapter, starting with Genlock. Let's talk about that. Another Genlock ad. Getting a little bit, I don't want to say I'm getting sick of Genlock, but I'm definitely starting to see enough Genlock stuff on my RWBY stuff, if you guys know what I mean. Especially because this chapter was only 13 minutes and 57 seconds. You factor the Genlock ad, the intro and the outro, you're looking at this RWBY chapter being literally about 10 minutes and 30 seconds long. For a semi-finale, I don't want to say it's unacceptable, but that's pretty bad. Let's be honest, that's pretty bad. This is the semi-finale of the season. And we got like a 10-minute episode. That's just, oh man, it's painful, guys. It's painful. It really is. But that aside, let's talk about the mech fight. But before the mech fight, actually, we open with the RWBY Rewind scene. So this was kind of cool. It looks like they added some more animation to this on the radar. Back in RWBY Rewind on the radar, we had a red dot that everyone was theorizing that it was a big Grim approaching, which just makes sense. It's almost silly to call it a theory because it's so evident that that's most likely what's happening. And indeed, we find out this chapter that is what happened. However, I want to talk about that radar real quick because RT added an extra animation to it, I believe. They showed like a little red line, a little red diagram under the dot, pointing it out to make it a little bit more obvious. So that was cool. Just something I noticed. And then the fight ensues. Again, the rewind scene, we have RWBY going up to take out the missiles. Cordovan actually, even in her old age, is quick enough to realize what's going on, and she puts the missiles away right before RWBY can take that shot. Pulls out the arm cannon again, and here's something I liked about the animation again. The arm cannon, as it's charging up that lightning dust, you can actually see in RWBY's eyes as they're getting closer to the barrel that the lightning dust is like reflected off her eyes. That was just a cool little detail, I thought, that made it seem even more dire, that like, oh my god, they're about to get hit by the lightning, the plan is failing. And indeed, they like just get tagged by the lightning. The ship starts losing control. Maria's eyes go crazy. Oscar's got to take over. And I thought they just did that scene pretty dang well. The next part was RWBY going into the cannon. And that, well, let's talk about, actually, you know what? The cannon part wasn't just yet. Because first the ship crashes. That's right. I skipped ahead a little bit too much. Give me 1 second. So yeah, the cannon part's not yet. The ship crashes. Crow immediately rushes over there. And like, I don't know, man. I like Crow this volume in some ways, but I also don't like him in many other ways. I like how protective Crow's been over RWBY, but at the same time, enough is enough. Like, let me explain. I like him rushing over to see RWBY's okay. That's good. But then him trying to like hold RWBY back is a little bit annoying because he's been doing that like all volume, where he's like, no, RWBY, don't. Like even this chapter, even when RWBY jumped in the ship to be with Maria, Crow was like, RWBY! And then freaking, you know, a few chapters ago when they're talking about the plan, he's like, RWBY, no. And it's just like continually doing that kind of stuff. And I don't know, man, like, it's just, Crow's supposed to be the freaking senior huntsman here, and he hasn't really done anything impressive all volume. As a matter of fact, he feels like the way Crow's been performing this volume, you wouldn't even think he's a senior huntsman. You would think he's just a huntsman in training like the rest of the RWBY gang. Because technically they never graduated. I mean, we can say they're honorary graduates probably because the Fall of Beacon that they took a part of and all that. Like they've definitely been through a lot. So maybe they're honorary graduates, but they technically haven't graduated yet. And Crow is basically on the same level as these characters in this volume, which is very weird because Crow's supposed to be like a noticeable league higher than Team RWBY. And well, this volume, he's not really showing that. So it's just kind of annoying. It's like, on one hand, I like him being defensive over RWBY, but on the other hand, like, he's getting like, he's jobbing his fights, and he's being a little bit too protective because it's just making him seem weak. I don't know, man. It's just this weird middle ground, I guess. Anyways, so I liked Crow being defensive, but I also didn't. RWBY saying, I need you to trust me. And again, we got that look between RWBY and Crow. It's probably a look that Summer gave Crow at one point. Because Summer may have literally said that to him. I need you to trust me. And I say again because if we look a few chapters ago, back with the plan when Jean explained it in Saffron's house, Crow, even in that scene, like, was looking at RWBY, and RWBY had this, like, stern look at Crow. And that was a look that a lot of us kind of thought maybe Summer gave Crow a look like that at one point. So, again, that's kind of being played out here with the I need you to trust me and that look between RWBY and Crow. She pulls away. She goes to do that. So, possibly, it's hinting at some dialogue between Summer and Crow having been the same way. So yeah, then RWBY goes into the barrel. I thought that was freaking epic and crazy. I was worried for her. I was like, dude, you got this little girl, RWBY, flying this giant mech, like freaking barrel gun. Like, dude, that's all bad. Like, keep her away from that. But indeed, she actually pulled it off, fired Crescent Rose into the dust being charged up, which freaking combusted the whole thing, caused all the dust to ignite, and that's why you got the like earth dust and the ice dust and all that freaking exploding, bringing the arm down to the water so it can't move. But something interesting, which actually is shown at the end of this chapter, but I'll bring it up now, is Cordovan's mech. The mech itself, at the end of the chapter, when the Argus base calls Cordovan, you can actually see the stats on the mech, like the energy and the damage it's taken. And the mech is actually apparently in really good shape still. If you look at the diagram on there, its HP is like almost fine on all its body parts because that's how it's broken down. So even though the dust blew up in the arm, it looks like the arm is actually okay. It's just being held down right now. So hypothetically, if they could break that dust off the arm, the mech should be in fighting shape. Like, it's actually not really damaged that badly. I mean, the hard light shields are down, and freaking it's got some holes in it and whatnot. But according to this diagram, apparently it's not that big a deal. And it's still got plenty of energy, and the armor's like pretty much still okay. So we might see the mech ending up fighting here, or we might not. There's a lot of ways the final fight can play out, but we'll get to that later on. I just wanted to bring that up briefly because the diagram was relative to the current conversation. So it was kind of cute once RWBY did the barrel thing. Well, actually, wait. I think my notes are a little bit messed up here, so I don't even know what order this is in now. But I liked how once RWBY was fallen down, friggin' Weiss used like gravity dust. Oh yeah, this was actually the right part. Anyways, right after RWBY shot the barrel, she like flew out of it because the momentum of it, it combusting forced her out of there. Plus, she was trying to run away anyways. So she's like flying through the air. Weiss uses her gravity glyphs to like slow RWBY's descent. I thought that was kind of cute. And then she ends up in Crow's arms. So you got that little White Rose moment and that little Crow and RWBY moment, which is always nice. Both of those are always nice in my opinion. It's just funny that every time Weiss uses the gravity dust, it doesn't like work that well. You know what I mean? Like when she used it on the ship in Volume 5, it like slowed it, but it still crashed and like destroyed and they got thrown out of it. Here, like RWBY, it's slowing RWBY, but like it didn't really slow her that much. Like she still freaking had to get caught by Crow. Freaking the train, she slows the train and it still doesn't really do anything. Like the train still derails, freaking goes all over the place. Like it's continually like Weiss will use the glyphs, but it won't do that much. It'll do like just enough. I don't know. It's just funny to me, kind of. So then Maria gets her eyes working at the very end, and we'll see. I guess it's good that she can see now, but still doesn't have silver eyes apparently. So it would be kind of cool if Maria and RWBY used their silver eyes in the end. Even though I personally don't like the silver eyes anymore because they just. What happens is you have a potentially awesome fight, and then the silver eyes happen, and all the awesomeness is done because the fight's won just like that. That's why I don't like the silver eyes. And for the record, I put the silver eyes scene as like the silver eyes scene from Volume 3 on my top 5 list of the best moments of RWBY, but this was back in like Volume 4. I put that as number 1. So it's not that I just don't like the silver eyes. I literally put the Volume 3 silver eyes scene in the best scene of RWBY back in Volume 4. Between Volume 1, 2, 3, and 4, I thought that was the best scene, honestly, because just like the emotion there and how epic it was and the screen fading to white afterwards and the ear ringing sound, like all of it was just very good. So it's not that I just don't like the silver eyes. The difference is, here's the big difference. When RWBY used the silver eyes in Volume 3, it was after the epic fight already happened. When Maria used the silver eyes in Volume 5, the epic fight could have still been happening, you know what I mean? But the silver eyes cucked it. It made it seem like everything Maria did was not really, it was kind of pointless because she could have just used the silver eyes from the get-go. So that's why I don't really like the silver eyes, man. And that might happen again in, the finale, but we'll see. So the next scene, though, is actually the Adam scene. I thought the Bumblebee combo attack was lit. It was like the classic Bumblebee combo attack, but reversed. Normally, it would be Blake shooting the Gamble Shroud over to Yang and throwing Yang, giving her the momentum. This time it was actually Yang giving Blake the momentum. So it was a reverse Bumblebee. So that was pretty sick. Always nice to see our Team RWBY combo attacks because that was the bread and butter of the series, man. Like fighting and like Team RWBY doing cool combo attacks. That was like the bread and butter of the series. So it's always cool to see team attacks again. And this was a reverse version. The music comp team during the fight with Adam was lit. I think the music comp team in-house for Rooster Teeth is very underrated this volume. Like, you've listened to the music in The Lost Fable, it's amazing. Like, freaking the music alone almost made me cry at the very beginning of The Lost Fable. You could just tell it's like so melancholy and sad. And the music comp team this whole volume has been amazing. I think they need to get more credit, honestly. Like, yeah, Casey Lee Williams is dope, and her songs are always great. But the in-house RT Music Comp team has just been like killing it this whole volume. I think they need some more credit themselves. And yeah, I don't know how Jeff. I don't know. Maybe Jeff works directly with that in-house music comp team as well. But my point is, whoever is leading it, like just the people that are in that team need some credit. I don't know their names and all that, but they obviously have a whole team behind it. Those guys are doing a great job, is all I'm saying. In terms of Yang, I was impressed by how she kept her calm during the whole fight. Finally, we saw Yang use her semblance while keeping a serene state of mind, a level head. This is something she's never done before. Every time, like whenever she used her semblance, it was either because she was mad that she got hit and she took damage, or someone else on her team was getting hurt, something like that. It was always her using the anger and being like, all right, now I'm mad, I'm gonna beat you up. This time it was like, yeah, I'm mad, but I'm still calm, and I'm gonna be tactical about this, and I'm gonna win. Like she said, you know, yeah, you might be faster than me, but I'm being smarter than you. This time, Yang actually was being smarter than Adam. The first time they fought, she wasn't. She was being an idiot, just rushing in there with the most telegraphed attack possible. Literally, if you're running towards someone like this, what do you think they're going to do? Probably come with the right? So Adam knew that. Yang's freaking, rah, boom, uses Ember Celica, boom, jumps forward, freaking arm back, about to freaking hit Adam. He's just like, all right, well, shing, I guess I'll slash that arm off if you're just going to give it to me. This time, it was like the opposite. Adam rushed forward at Yang in anger. Yang was the calm one, complete opposite of last fight between the two of them. And so that's paralleled nicely, and Adam indeed gets pretty wrecked there. We'll talk about that in a second, though. I do want to mention, I don't know if I said it yet, Yang just, like, it's cool that she used her semblance like that, and it also looked a little different to me. It might just be the new engine, because we haven't seen her with her semblance activated with the fiery hair and stuff in the new engine. So it might just be the new animation. I kind of feel like they might have changed it slightly, though, just to make it seem a little bit more calm, cool, and collected. Because in the past, when Yang semblance would activate, like, at its full potential, like when Mercury activated it in the Vital Tournament, friggin', not only is her hair on fire and her eyes are red, but there's fire bursting around her, too. Like, literally, fire bursts around her when it activates. That didn't happen this time. So I feel like that's relative to how she kept a calmer state of mind. So yeah, she had the red eyes and the fiery hair, but it didn't feel as like hyper aggressive as before. It felt more calm and collected, and I feel like that wasn't just an animation. Like, that wasn't just because of the new engine. I think that was actually an animation choice as well to represent Yang's better control of her semblance. I could be 100% wrong though about that one, but that's just that's how I'm gonna personally take that. So then Adam goes for Gamble Shroud instead of using his sheath. Interesting choice. A lot of people are upset about this. I've talked to a lot of people on social media already about this chapter. A lot of people are upset that Adam didn't use his sheath to fight because it's, you know, he's used the sheath to fight before, and it has a shotgun on there. So he could have used the sheath to fight instead of running for Gamble Shroud. Not the best choice by him. He could have also used like his semblance or the aura energy, whatever you want to call it, to create those images. And he could have used one of those. He could have used two of those, like one after Blake, one after Yang, and then got Gamble Shroud or anything like that. I don't know. Some people are saying Adam was dumbed down because of that choice. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Maybe he was dumbed down a little bit, but I also know in a fight, in the heat of the moment, sometimes you aren't using your head, and everything went down real quick in that moment. So maybe he was being dumbed down by RWBY, or maybe he just wasn't thinking straight because he was mad and he was in the middle of a fight. I don't know. I'm really in the middle on that one, to be honest. But I will say that I do think Adam was done wrong, dude. I mean, being impaled by Blake and Yang, I really didn't think Blake and Yang had it in them to kill Adam. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't see Blake and Yang as like killers. I thought they would beat him and subdue him, or if he was gonna die this chapter, I thought it would be by something random, like maybe he misses an attack and it chops down a tree and a tree falls on him, something stupid like that, or Grim come and he fights the Grim off to try to help Blake and Yang escape, something like that, because y'all know I do think that Adam should have got partial redemption. Like, I've always thought and been saying that I think the best way for Adam to go out would be realizing that he's done a lot of messed up stuff, and in his like last moments he protects Blake and like lets Blake escape, and like, yeah, he's still a bad dude who's done a lot of bad things, but it's not entirely his fault. He was led down a bad path. Because of the SDC on his eye, we can assume that, you know, he's probably working in a dust mine. Because of his leadership qualities, I can reasonably assume that Adam was probably working in a dust mine, and he spoke up to the Shinji Dust Company about how the Faunus were being mistreated. And so what did they do? They laughed at him and they branded his eye. They could have branded his chest or his arm. They chose his eye, and that was probably to make an example out of him and to teach him a lesson. But we all know that just made him that made him into this angry person. So I feel bad for Adam. I mean, like, he definitely was corrupted during his life because a lot of bad stuff happened to him. He had a character short. I feel bad for him, and I feel bad for the character itself because I feel like he was done dirty here. Like, I don't know. It just didn't feel like a good time to kill Adam off, in my opinion. He is the OG character of the show, man. Like, he's literally like the first bad guy of the show. He's the first male character in the show. He's one of the first speaking characters in the show. And he had a character short this volume. You know, they could have done more backstory. Like, I gave you my thoughts on his backstory. Like, that's probably what happened with the brand and all that. But that's just me theorizing on it. Like, I don't know. I feel like there was some wasted potential there. And for the record, I'm not one to ease, like, I don't go and say wasted potential often. When a lot of people were saying Sienna Khan was wasted potential, I was like, no, dude, Sienna Khan's dumb, and I don't even think her design's that cool. I don't miss her. She turned her back on Adam in the middle of being usurped. She deserves to be killed off at that point. Like, she made a stupid choice. So I don't, like, easily say that, it's not easy for me to say that it's a waste of potential, you know what I mean? Like, I really have to believe it, and that's definitely the case with Adam. I feel like, they just showed his semblance being used in different ways, or if you want to say it was his aura, we can debate about that. Point is, they showed him using, like, new techniques that we've never seen before. They gave him all this cool stuff, a character short and all this, just to kill him off in the end. And in a 2v1 at that, like, a 2v1, man, not even a 1v1, a 2v1. And the thing about a 2v1 is not only does it screw over Adam because it was a 2v1, but it also screws over Blake and Yang because it's like, yeah, you beat Adam, but you beat him in a 2v1. Like, not a fair fight. So, I mean, I don't know. Technically, it was a 1v1 for a little bit, I guess. But then it became a 2v1. I don't know, man. I don't know. The Blake and Yang scene crying and stuff was nice and all that. But I don't know how to feel about this. Like, I'm not even that big of an Adam fan either. Like, I like Adam as a villain. I think he's a good villain. I think he's got a cool character design. I think he's got a cool fighting style. But you guys know my favorite characters, and Adam's not even on my top 5. Like, freaking my favorite characters, man, is like Crow, Ozpin, Neo, Weiss. Blake's been growing on me. I like Maria. I like Oscar. Like, yeah, Adam's not even close. I like Raven. Adam is not even close to my top, like, 5. Maybe he's in the top 10 near the very, like, latter part of the top 10. Like, maybe he's spot 8, 9, or 10. Maybe he doesn't even make my top 10. I don't even know. So I'm not, like, super biased towards Adam. I just think he got kind of screwed over here. He falls and hits the rocks. The rocks break. He falls into the water. Technically, maybe he's still alive. Some people think he's alive. But here's the thing. If he is alive, that's just going to feel, like, stupid because that's literally what happened to Cinder. She took a hit. She fell into the water. And she lived. Well, she took a hit, she fell off a cliff into the water, and she lived. Adam, it would be the same thing. He takes the hits, he falls off a cliff, into the water. If he lives, it's literally just the Cinder thing repeated. So, I don't know what's worse, for him to really be killed off in this way, or for him to live and it's just a repeat of what happened to Cinder, and we're like, oh, wow, we've seen this before. I don't know what's worse. I kind of feel like him actually, like, not being dead would be worse at that point. I don't know, man. We'll see. Then we go to the mech fight. Let's talk about that. The very end of the mech fight. Cordovan orders all the troops to take out RWBY and Co. She's a very spiteful woman. Oh my god. She would take all the troops from Argus to converge on their location just to beat these people. Wow. All right. But then again, I mean, you can't blame her, I guess. She can't fight any longer and she doesn't want to support what they're doing. And you can't really blame her. Like, they technically are, like, breaking the law and doing a lot of illegal stuff. So, I mean, can't really blame her for not wanting to trust a bunch of kids that just, like, broke into Atlas property and stole freaking their ship and have now damaged the mech and all that. You can't blame her for not really trusting them, even though she should at least hear them out more, in my opinion. But it is what it is. And then we find out, indeed, yeah, the freaking giant Grim is approaching. It's called a Leviathan. It's pretty cool. I think it's got a cool design. I think it's going to be a scary Grim to watch fight. And you have all these Manticore converging on Argus as well. It's not looking good for Argus. The guard that people were theorizing on being Neo, just because it was interesting that they, like, singled this one female guard out at the beginning of the last chapter. She's here looking all scared and stuff. It's probably not Neo anymore, I'm guessing. Maybe they just singled her out to kind of show us some of the guards on Argus because they're going to play a role down the road. Like, they might not have speaking roles, but just we'll see them around some more. Maybe that's all there is to it. Maybe it is Neo. We'll find out. But the way the guard, like, looked all scared and was running around the base didn't really seem like something Neo would do to me. But we'll see. We'll see. So there's a few ways this can play out. And the most likely ways are both really cliche. So bunch of Grim. How do you beat that? Silver Eyes. Again, I've already told you why I don't really like the Silver Eyes anymore. If the whole Grim army just ends up being beaten by Silver Eyes, that's probably going to be really boring. They could even make it really epic and have, like, RWBY like master Silverize in this fight, and all the people of Argus are like, whoa, this girl's special, like who is she? And then they're like, yeah, we'll take her to Atlas or all that stuff, you know? It could be like something epic like that, but it's still boring because it's like so predictable, you know? Another option is that they could have like Cinder and Neo be at Argus, and then Cinder ends up helping defend Argus as a maiden with all her maiden powers and stuff and doing really cool stuff. The thing is, that's also going to be boring. Why? Remember Volume 2, The Breach? Cinder already did that. They already had Cinder helping defend Vale from Grimm. So a twist where, oh, Cinder's here and she's actually going to help the good guys for now because the Grimm are everywhere. That's already been done. That already happened. Like, that's just going to be a repeat of Volume 2. So if the Silverize end up saving the day, it's probably going to be, like, boring. If Cinder ends up saving the day, it's probably going to be boring. I don't know, man. The only thing that would really be cool is, I don't know, maybe Winter rolls up with some support troops, but how do they really get in touch with them? I don't know. Hopefully, all I'm going to say is hopefully the finale, like, surprises us, and hopefully it's epic, and hopefully it's got a good time length. That's all I really got to say about this chapter, guys. I'm going to end this here because it's going to take a while to upload. 20-minute video is going to take a pretty long time to upload, so I do have a little bit more to say, but I got to stream in 2 hours. So I need to end this here so I can upload it and still get to the stream on time. So I'll catch you guys later. If you want to have more discussion about this chapter, come to the stream or hit me up on Discord or in the comments. I'll do my best to take a look and reply to you guys. That is like 99% of my thoughts. I think I could have talked a little bit more, but don't get me wrong. It's like most of my thoughts on the chapter, so don't feel bad or anything like that. So I'll catch you guys soon. If you would like to do a little bit extra to support the channel, consider sponsoring on Patreon, link down below, or one-time donation through Streamlabs. Either way, I appreciate it, and just hitting that thumbs up button also helps. I'll catch you next time.